Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, was directed by Zack Snyder and is even co-written by him, making this one of the few movies that he has a writing credit on, including Sucker Punch and Army of the Dead. In this movie, we are in a universe which is being ruled by an imperial force which has taken over a lot of the common land that people have and is destroying the lives of people who just want to stay alive. In this particular case, a rebellion is going up against this imperial thing, and it's being led by a woman named Cora, played by Sofia Boutella, who has a bit of a past to her, but she's putting together a group of people who could potentially take down this imperial force and defeat an admiral who seems to be hell-bent on destroying a lot of things. If that sounds familiar to you, yeah, we'll get to that part in a bit. This is a movie that I was actually really interested in because I have long maintained that Snyder is a very interesting filmmaker. I always find his movies to be visually stunning, but I feel like sometimes it can be a case of storytelling taking a back seat. That said, every single time I do watch a Zack Snyder movie, I get something that is a stunning experience, and I was excited to get that with Rebel Moon as well. And right out the gate, I can say that as a positive, it is absolutely stunning. This looks magnificent. I saw it on TV because it wasn't running in any theater near me over the last week, so I had to wait for the Netflix drop like pretty much everybody else, I think. And so I got to see it just now. Looked absolutely incredible. You know, colors were popping off the screen. He's definitely filmed this one. He did the cinematography as well better than he did Army of the Dead, which got some criticisms, especially when it came to depth of field and focusing. Here, I didn't find any such issues. It was genuinely very good to look at, and the effects, the production design, the costumes, all of it looked really, really good. Once again, a very visually stimulating experience, which is something that I feel like everyone has come to expect with the Zack Snyder movie. You know you're going to get that experience to the highest degree. And also, it comes with some solid performances. Sofia Boutella is an actress who I've liked in a lot of stuff, but I've always wanted her to be a lead. It doesn't always happen. And so getting to see a movie where she is the lead is pretty awesome. And she's an absolute badass in this role. She does a really, really great job in the action sequences as well as the character building moments, which, again, I'll get to more of in a minute because I do have some extra notes about certain things. But even the supporting cast that's with her, from Jima Hosu to Charlie Hunnam to Ray Fisher to Miguel Guzman to Ed Skrein, they're all fantastic in this movie. They're all doing a really good job. It's also got a really pulse-pounding score from Junkie XL, or Tom Holkenborg, however you want to call him. And he's really, really doing a much more accentuated version of his, loud drums that go off. He does a really great job over here too. And I'm looking forward to his music in the second part of Rebel Moon. And the world building, it is incredibly interesting. There are so many interesting things going on with character looks and with arcs and with certain things that are, like referenced and hinted at, that I was constantly fascinated by some of the world building. I mean, really, you could make some comments on it, which, again, we're getting to it, I promise, about how it looks like certain things or reminds you of certain things. That was my dog in the back there. But at the same time, the vision is immaculate. Like, you can definitely tell this is something that was made with a labor of love. That being said, it feels like half a labor of love. Now, I'm not mentioning that just because part one or anything. I also mean that it means that it's very much a constrained version of that love. Once again, we're in a situation where a Zack Snyder movie has come out and it feels like it's not the entire thing. It feels like there are things that are missing from this, especially when it comes to characterization and certain things that are built through with a ton of exposition and setup that we don't ever really get to see much of leading to that point. And a lot of that also has to do with Cora's character. There are certain things that are set up about her past and things that have led to this particular moment in time, and we don't really get to see a lot of that. We get some, stories about this happened and that happened. There is one moment where we do go back and we get some stuff which I thought was really, really good, but I really wish we got some more of that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're in a shorter version of the movie. The version that's right now on Netflix is 2 hours and 15 minutes long and rated PG-13. The version that's going to be on Netflix soon, which is going to be before the second part releases or before or a little bit after, is going to be an R-rated extended cut cut that's 3 hours and 15 minutes long. Now you might be asking yourself, why isn't that out yet? Why can't we just watch that version now? If I had to take a guess, here's my theory: they're not done with it. Which is oftentimes the case, because an extended cut is not as simple as just slapping a bunch of scenes together into an edit and saying, we've done it, we've extended the movie, let's move on now. You have to edit it in a way that it makes cohesively, like narratively cohesive sense. It manages to make the story more effective. It's able to expand on certain things that feel necessary, and sometimes you have to complete extra effects and backgrounds for that, or little tidbits here and there to make sure it looks all refined. That can take a while. If that's already done, then I don't know what they're waiting for, but I have to guess that it's taking a few extra months because that process takes a little bit of refining. And the version that's been shown so far is the theatrical cut, so that's what people are going to go off of. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that to, the experts over there. Because there are certain character motivations and decisions that do feel a little incomplete. Or it feels like certain characters are introduced with something that has happened before, but we didn't really get to see. The first 40 minutes or so of the movie are very strong. Like, you're set up in this world and you're seeing what's happening, the effects of this, force that's coming down on them. You get some new characters that are, inhabiting that world and stuff, which are really, really good. But then once you get into the actual recruiting stuff and you get stories about who these characters are, it feels like we really do run through certain things. And so it feels like it's sort of held back. You will hear some criticisms about the fact that there are a lot of similarities, though, which is something that I mentioned I will get to. So the thing about the similarities, yeah, they're there. There's a lot of Dune and Star Wars and even a moment from Avatar in here, which are very clearly like things that you'll notice and go, that's inspired by that. You might have that moment, but similar to what I was saying with Aquaman yesterday, there's a difference between how it's done compared to the fact that it's there. Like in the case of Aquaman yesterday, I felt like it was something that we just seen very recently, so it felt a little more recent. In this case, you could make the same argument, but it's also about the fact that, how it's done. That didn't really bother me as much as it was coming to the end of it. I was like, I'm more interested in how you're going to bring this vision around. Like, are you going to do it well? Or is it something that's just going to be a mishmash of elements because it's been gestating for so long as an idea? I think the latter is a little lesser compared to the fact that it comes together fairly solidly, although it does set up for a part 2, and past this initial setup point, I think we're now ready to really get into the action. There is action in this movie. The slow-mo is there, a Zack Snyder traditional thing where you just have to have some sequences have the slow motion. This is something that's not a problem for me anymore because I've just used to that being in a Zack Snyder movie. Also, slow-mo doesn't really bother me much. Like, I feel like if you're doing a good job of it, if you do a cool job of it, then great. But I feel that aspect of it is a very polarizing one for some people, and so I understand if that doesn't quite work for everybody, and, well, I'll leave that to you. That's up to the jury to decide. In the end, I feel like I should give a grade to this, but I also don't know if I should because it's not the full thing. I don't really feel like I've got the entire thing as of yet, so I could give you a preliminary grade, and I do have issues with the movie. I think all the stuff that you've heard about it in the trades, that is definitely there. But I also don't think it's as bad a movie as some are making it out to be. It's a movie that is a mixed bag. There are lots of things that work. There are some thinly written things and things that are not expanded upon, some rushed stuff, and definitely some, lack of things coming together in the best way possible. But then again, there's an extended cut coming, which is going to hopefully add on to those things, which feels like a cop-out thing to say, but this has become a thing now with a lot of Zack Snyder movies, in that the extended cut is often the better version. I said the same thing with Batman v Superman. Justice League was a complete overhaul. That's a totally different thing, but Watchmen's ultimate cut is better. Sucker Punch's extended cut is better. So I don't know. I don't really know where this is going to land, but as of right now, I can say that I had a pretty fun time with it overall, but it was a mixed bag for me. I don't think it's all perfect, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope that, you get something more out of the theatrical cut. But I am very excited to see that hour-longer version, and I'm going to talk about that when it does come out. And so, you know what? I'm not gonna give this a number yet. I will talk more about that when we get to the extended cut of the film, which, like as we know, is definitely coming. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. Let me know what you guys thought of Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. It's a long title. It's a mouthful, I know. But I am excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. As always, if you like this, guys, please do subscribe. Thank you very much once again. And I'll see you guys at the movies.